Going to call to order the Tuesday, June 7th, 2022 Norristown Council meeting. Can I have a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, can I have roll call, please?
Hakeem Jones.
Here.
Rashad Bates.
Here.
Rebecca Smith.
Here.
Dustin Queenan. Tiffany Henley.
Here.
Heather Lewis.
Here.
Thomas LaPera.
Here. Can I have a motion to approve the previous minutes?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Motion passes. Executive session announcement. We had an executive session on litigation and personnel. Presentations. Citizens Leadership Academy.
So I'll open it up while Brenda's getting started. I'll turn it over to him quickly. Council, as you know, we have been conducting Citizen Leadership Academy since I think 2015. And so I have over 100 cohorts about it. We're proud of the fact that some of those folks have ended up sitting up at this dais as council members, and we hope that that will continue. I think part of your charge tonight, I will ask, and I've talked to you, a couple of you about it, is press these folks to join committees and boards to serve. I think this is another great class that Kevin will speak about. I enjoyed talking with them, and very enthusiastic, great group. Kevin, I'm going to turn it over to you for you to initiate the ceremony and just say, certainly on behalf of the staff, we are extremely appreciative of the fact that these folks stuck it out, went through the program. It's good 8 weeks of engagement and learning about what's going on in government, and we hope to see a lot of them going forward in terms of the work that we do together in making this a better community. Kevin?
Good evening, Council.
Evening.
Obviously not used to being out here, but short and sweet. So thank you to everyone for being here. I'm Kevin Tustin, I'm the Public Information Officer here in Norristown. And the Citizens Leadership Academy is one of the programs that I get to lead every year, or at least when we're allowed to, if there's not a global health crisis going on. But the Citizens Leadership Academy is an 8-week program. We take residents through all the different departments here in the municipality, and we also tell them about what their county services are and what their school district services are. Obviously, we're a big community here. There's a lot of different moving parts, and hopefully throughout the 8 weeks, our residents have learned so much more about their local government, whether they knew a little bit before or maybe they didn't know so much. But hopefully, we've given them all the tools, the resources to be active and engaged community members, and I hope to see many of you all serve on our boards and commissions or serve on council one day. So for this class, I think we had 12 people apply. We ultimately ended with 8 people completing the whole course. We have individual certificates for you all, so I will call you up one by one, give you your certificate, and take a group picture, and that's pretty much how it's going to go for me. These are all at random, so they're not in any order. First, we have Amber Queen. Congratulations. Thank you for participating. You can just stay up here for a second. Next, we have Adam Lang. Congratulations. Thank you.
Now
and
we're allowed to shake hands.
yeah, and Adam's wife actually went through the program last year. So I think he wanted to be in the class, but by the time he applied last year, the class was already filled. So
I'm a legacy.
exactly. You were grandfathered in, so to speak.
That was good.
Next we have Alvina Ham. Teresa McRae. Teresa actually came in the second week. She missed the first week, but she was still very excited to join the class, so I was more than happy to have her come in. She still had 7 weeks of information to get. So
All the questions.
I hope
All
that
the good questions.
Kelly Mundi. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Jim Waters.
There he is. Good job.
Oh, no problem. The public comment section's coming up. Jennifer Kemp. Here you go. Last and certainly not least, we have Aaron Wesley, and I must say, there's always one person who reaches out to me about the class way before I even start advertising it. He reached out to me, it must have been September or October, so he was dead set for joining the class, and I'm glad you were able to participate, and you came every single week. I'm just going to get into center-ish here.
Okay, don't squeeze in here, we're gonna keep on whatever.
And council, while they're taking a picture, I do want to say that I really appreciate the fact that, you know, when I handed this off to Kevin has done a marvelous job of managing this program and getting folks engaged and keeping them engaged. And I just want to say thanks.
He does.
For the great job.
So remember that during the next campaign.
Thank you, Mr. Jones, and thank you for council for letting us to keep this program going. And I hope to do it many more times with a lot new, fresh faces. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll move on to announcements. Madam Vice President.
Council, are there any announcements, any activities?
No.
Going? Well, oh, yes.
You might have them as say like our upcoming Norristown events.
I just have the shameless plug for Smoking Whiskey on Monday.
Oh.
This is the last week to buy tickets to Smoking Whiskey, the pregame to Father's Day on Monday, June 13th at Von C. Von C just had its 1-year anniversary over the weekend, which was a huge success, I would say. I came, you were there earlier than me, 200 plus people. Easy, inside, outside, food vendors and stuff. So it's a great place. They're a great community member. And they're very grateful to us for allowing them to do what they do, but they give back to the community tenfold. So if you want to have an extra night out for the men in your life that you enjoy, Von C on Monday, June 13th.
And then I was just going to add in our Norristown events, the Juneteenth celebration on June 19th and the Festival of Music it's called on June 21st.
Yes. Make
So-
Music Day.
Make Music Day. So 2 good fun community events coming up.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, any public comment?
Yes, we have one. From Jim Waters, Hamilton Street. The Pennsylvania Constitution, Section 27.5 states, "The people have a right to clean air, pure water, and to the preservation." And then Pennsylvania American Water believes that have no jurisdiction to stop stormwater pollution. The Pennsylvania Constitution's pure water must be in their job description to protect the Schuylkill River from pollution, not raise rates when pollution increases. Schuylkill River banks are being washed away at the rate of 6% a year. Fact, January 19, 2022, The Foul State of Pennsylvania Waterways by Frank Coomer, Philadelphia Inquirer staff writer, Montgomery County, is number 4 with 75% of the streams impaired. The Stony Creek watershed is the one closest to the Norristown plant. The receiver of this pollution is Norristown. Pennsylvania American Water should help reduce the pollution by funding stormwater BMPs in the watershed. One such location would be at the Norristown Area High School located in West Norton on the west branch of the Stony Creek called Kepner Creek. This location would protect a bridge, 50 homes, a sewer pumping station, and most of all, keep open the main road to Einstein Hospital. The downstream reduction in flow would reduce damage in Norristown. Pennsylvania American Water should be taking charge to stop the pollution since the DEP has not enforced Stormwater Management Act 167. Funding a pollution reduction project at the high school would be a teaching aid for those students. Other schools would come to visit the project and attend workshops about stormwater control, pollution reduction, and complying with the Pennsylvania Constitution. This could inspire students to careers as engineers, and that would make a better community. Question, why is it that they can fly to the moon, but they cannot stop the watersheds from being destroyed, causing devastating floods and killing people? And that's it.
Well, Kevin, you certainly taught them a lot in class, didn't you? Thank you, Mr. Warder.
Get that credit for all that.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Warder. And any other public comment from the room? Seeing none, we'll move on. Mr. Jones, Resolution 22-37.
Thank you, Council. First, I want to defer to Council because I know these are two issues that are important to you, and these are resolutions that are requested to be brought forward. The first being Resolution number 22-37, which recognizes June 2022 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in Norristown. We've done this before, and it's been a passion of council to do it, so I certainly want to defer to anybody on council who wants to speak to this. Otherwise, it is a motion for council to approve this resolution and designating the month, and I'll take any direction from you guys in terms of whether you want me to read it or you just want to speak to it.
Well, Council, do you have any comments, questions?
I have a question. Are we gonna get a pride flag on our flagpole?
When we get a good flagpole, when we get a flagpole, I know that last year, and I guess Kevin has, if he hasn't done it, you know, we certainly do it with the logo. We do plot pride with our logo, but when we get a flagpole, if that's what you guys want, we will absolutely do it.
We could just follow suit of our lieutenant governor and hang it out the window.
Yeah.
Okay, well, with that, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 22-37?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Rashad Bates. Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Tiffany Henley.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye. Guys have it, resolution passes. Thank you. Resolution 22-38, Gun Violence Awareness Day.
Again, same thing. I certainly want to open up the opportunity for council to make any comments related to it, but certainly because of the national trend that's happening in gun violence and certainly things that happen in our community, both past and present, we wanted to go on record, and I want to turn it over to the council if anybody wants to speak to this issue before you vote.
Council, questions and comments?
I have a question and then a maybe comment. Since we're approving this after, I know June 3rd is like the Sandy Hook National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Since we're approving it kind of after that date, was there anything that we did to promote gun violence awareness?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we did anything administratively or in the police department. We certainly wanted to recognize it with this.
Yeah, then my comment would be when we do this in future years that we accompany it with some actual
Something.
awareness.
All right.
Right, our honor, you know, I mean, we've had tremendous gun violence recently in Norristown, I mean, almost on a weekly basis. So I think honoring maybe the victims and folks that have lost loved ones to gun violence might be
Be a
something,
beautiful response.
a memorial, or, you know, I mean, just reading of names or whatever.
So Council, if it's helpful, I did help to prepare this resolution, and the day is about Sandy Hook and whatnot. It also correlates with the Wear Orange campaign. So something that perhaps Council could do next year, make sure we get it to you before June 3rd, would be you could participate as a part of the Wear Orange campaign. You could encourage municipal staff to wear orange the day of June 3rd, assuming it's during a workday, that sort of thing, in recognition of Gun Violence Awareness Day and solidarity with all the victims of gun violence. And that's one thing. That's why that date was actually chosen. That's why it's listed on there, is to correlate as a part of that whole orange campaign that's out there.
I definitely agree with the memorial idea. Just to even read some of the names out, just to drive it home, because a lot of the young people out there that are, performing these senseless acts could drive it home a little bit, just knowing that they are part of our community, these people that are dying, and maybe change one of them.
Well, I'll definitely put it on as a to-do for us and kind of put together a mock program for that, run it by you guys and make sure it's what you want to do, and we'll make sure going forward it's institutionalized.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 22-38?
So moved.
Madam Secretary.
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Rashad Bates.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Tiffany Henley.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye. Resolution passes. Resolution 22-39.
Council Resolution 22-39 is both a current and a resolution for council to ratify waiver of the ordinance related to food trucks that allows food trucks to operate in municipal right-of-way where otherwise food trucks could not operate. This was brought forth as initially as a part of the celebration of Von C's first anniversary, whereas they needed to have food trucks on the street. As it was mentioned before, Von C has been a great community partner, and council has done this before. Even before you had a food truck ordinance in place, there were several times over the several years that you made this same type of waiver for Montgomery County in terms of having food trucks downtown before a food truck ordinance was passed, and certainly for yourselves in terms of anything that we did that required food trucks. So this ordinance is a ratification of the waiver for Von C to have done it, and it's also a request for a waiver going forward for Make Music Day, which will be located at Von C in partnership with Von C, and the food trucks will be in the same location. So we're requesting that council pass this resolution in that regard.
Council, any questions?
I have one question. I was asked that if we were gonna have waivers for the summer concerts at Elmwood Park, is that something as well that could be requested?
Typically, we can do it, but typically because it's a municipal event, we did it. If you want to, we could bring a waiver for it. We did this one because Von C was involved, even in the partnership with us, and we just want to make sure we do it. But if council's more comfortable with us doing a waiver request for your events.
Yeah, I only ask because sometimes people see things happen and they want to know how they can do it as well.
Right,
so,
right.
But it's good
Right.
that we.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and the typical process is make the request, we get it in front of council, and we'll do something like this if council chooses to waive it for anybody else. We'll bring it.
Eric, what's going on?
I was just going to add real quick. In the past, if you choose doing every concert, then we don't have that's not the crowd that will engage in that for every single show. In the past, I chose larger ones, like the opening one, your July 4th, your closing one, and it's worked out a little better. So exactly what Mr. Jones had said, but I wouldn't go for every concert offering it because you might be, unfortunately, it might not work out for the vendor. But yeah, we've done it before.
I have a question, and I was talking with Jay. So is this it's a resolution, so this is a permanent thing for them, so they will be allowed to have food trucks regularly?
No,
Or
this is specifically for that event.
this June?
Right, and that we worded it for that event so that we don't want to waive the ordinance
Might
indefinitely.
want to
Right.
have a conversation.
Mhm.
Because I
Okay.
think he thinks this is a new thing.
Right, that's why we put the date
Okay.
in the ordinance, so it won't be here for everything.
I was excited that it was good. I'm for it, but
Yeah.
you might just wanna check in with it.
I think one of the things is you be careful in doing that because there might be other requests and you certainly want to give them the same opportunity, but for streets that aren't designated for it, there might be a time when you don't want it. And so that's why you don't give any one carte blanche, because then you have to give everybody carte blanche.
Yeah, and you really don't know what's gonna happen across the street.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 22-39?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Rashad Bates.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Tiffany Henley.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye, the ayes have it, resolution passes. We'll go into police, resolution number 22-33. Chief?
And good evening, Mr. President. I have three matters in front of you today. I'll start out with the first one, 2233. This is to fulfill 6 existing vacancies in the police department. The department participated in the Montgomery County Consortium test back in February 22. We conducted oral interviews and passing candidates beginning in April 22. A total of 20 candidates passed oral portion of the interview process. A list was submitted to Civil Service, who approved it. On May 4th, 2022, Civil Service Commission approved a list of 20 candidates, which then approved by the council on May 18th, 2022. The Norristown Police Department is authorized to fill vacancies with a maximum of 69 officers. As of June 16th, 2022, we will have 6 vacancies, leaving the department with 63 members. There are 2 members out on terminal leave that will not be returning, creating 2 additional vacancies by the end of the year. Civil service guidelines require that we submit additional officer employment extended to the next 6 candidates: Sakina Hall, Colin Palmer, Michael Drucker, Mark Leesix, Robert Evangelista, and John Avery. Avery is the only one that does not have the Act 120, so we'll have to go to the police academy. The other 5 are ready to go, so they're like plug and play. We'll better use them right away. I recommend that you approve a conditional offers of employment to these 6 candidates.
Thank you, Chief.
Council, do you have any questions?
Thanks, Chief. What does minority participation look like for applicants that are looking to go into law enforcement?
We had a lot of participation. Some people dropped out. We're going to do our own test in the fall. I think some of the minorities we have in this list, they were picked off by other departments. So when we do it ourselves, we're not having people like, for example, Cheltenham or somewhere. We'll have people in the top 10, and they'll pick them off because every department is looking to diversify. So those people are hot commodities right now. So we do have one female officer who'll be sworn in. She'll be the second black female officer in history of Norristown Police Department when she's sworn in.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions?
Just as a reminder, and it's a great question you brought forward, you recall that a few years back, council did amend its rules for hire so that we could take in a non-act and pay for them to encourage minorities who are not in the system and women who are not in the system that we pay for them to go to training to become a police officer.
Was the one that did not have Act 20, are they a Norristown resident by any chance?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I grew up across the street from John. Okay, do I have a motion to approve resolution 22-33?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Rashad Bates.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Tiffany Henley.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye, the ayes have it, resolution passes. Resolution 22-34, Chief.
This is a motion to approve a request for disabled parking spaces. We have one for 1209 Tyler Street. That resident has a history of medical conditions that impact their mobility and must park close to their home. I recommend that you approve it.
Council, any questions? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 22-34?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Rashad Bates.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Tiffany Henley.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye, the ayes have it, resolution passes. Acceptance of reducing underage drinking and dangerous drinking grant, PaLCB. Chief.
All right, we applied for or awarded a grant for $40,000 for 2 years for reducing underage drinking and dangerous drinking through a Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board. We use this grant to pay civilians and also officers overtime and also educate children on dangers of alcohol and also on enforcement. So I thanks for your acceptance or approval to accept this grant.
Council, any questions? Councilman Jones?
Thanks, Chief. You said pay civilians, overtime, and what is it? What do you mean by pay
So
civilians?
say it's a Saturday, we want kids to come out. We have to pay overtime for that. Instead of using our own funds, we can use the funds from the grant to pay overtime for. Like right now, we have Youth Advisory Council. So on Saturdays, we can use our own overtime fund sometimes to pay officer, Detective Sewell and also Rosie to go out there. So these grant funds, when we have kids out there, we're educating them on dangers of alcoholism and all stuff like that. We can use this grant instead of using our own funds from municipality.
One more question. Could you pay the kids a stipend for their participation and maybe for things that they might be doing as a reward or
I haven't looked
incentive?
at the guidelines for the grant, but I don't think so.
It's a good idea. Maybe gift cards or just some type of incentive for them for doing it too. That's a thought.
It is, I'll look into that.
Council, any other questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to accept the $40,000 PaLCB grant?
Motion. Second.
Madam Secretary?
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Rashad Bates. Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Tiffany Henley.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye. We accept the grant. Thank you. Ms. Gennardi, Resolution 22-36.
Hello, everyone. So we are here. I am asking for the approval for the final award to our lowest bidder of Foresight Concepts Incorporated. We'd like to waive the 12-day waiting period between the intent to award and the final award required by the RCO ordinance. The project does, per the stipulations of the grant from DCNR, the project needs to be completed prior to the end of October to ensure that all of our landscaping and everything that we put in for the grant has, I guess, been established. So this would be 21, I think we're looking for, it's an additional 21,000 here. Let me pull up my thing. For Foresight to get moving, and we can start having them scheduled now. There it is. So, not 20,000, I'm sorry. So this is, I'm sorry, excuse me, I read the wrong thing. So it's just to approve the grant in general. It is a total of $405,000, with 202 of it coming from the municipality, and the remaining comes from, matched from DCNR.
And what this 500,000 is, this extra to it, we got some extra ARPA money left over from that first round. And we had brought this to council's attention several months back as we were starting this. And this just we utilized some of that. It probably will be, I think, the remainder of what's been allocated from that first round of $10 million funds. But one of the things that, as you can see on the plan, that the things that we're looking to do is really kind of clean up the park as council had envisioned in the discussion a few years back, and COVID obviously slowed the process down to getting to it. But now council had also passed a resolution that actually established dusk to dawn hours at the park, and that was because of safety reasons and issues that the police have been dealing with ongoing out there. So this will install an electronic gate that will be closed after hours are put up, new signage. There's going to be a paved walkway that will lead to where the floating dock is. There's also an ADA accessible place where that will lead there. As you might know, up until this point, it's been get that the best way you can in both instances. We're regulating, putting some green spaces into the park and actually organizing the parking so that there's a great flow. We've installed several lights. So we upgraded lighting up there a while ago. Mr. Denabo kind of led us through that process working with PICO. This will also, you'll see that yellow structure at the top left corner. We're going to put in a restroom facility that is really just one of those containment units that houses the porta potties. It makes it look a lot better than this standard porta potty sitting out there. And then the purplish at the bottom is going to be the installation of a new pavilion where we look to give people opportunities like we have in our other parks to rent that space for events, weddings, picnics, etc. At the park. So it's an exciting feature. There's going to be some other, agricultural features out there to green it up and make it much more attractive. Ultimately, this is another step in that master plan redevelopment of that whole area. So we're looking at now that overlook area that's right off the trail so that we can connect that, and we're going to continue to look at other funding opportunities to move through all of the phases of the project.
Council, any questions? Councilman Jones?
Yeah, so there's no pathway from the trail into the actual waterfront. And most trail outlets, as you go up, you can get on. Is there any talks with the county to have a bike path to go from the trail down into the...
Right. Thank you. That's a great question, and that's what I was mentioning.
Because you technically have...
Yeah, there's an overlook right over there, and that's always been a part of, where those steps, there's some steps that come down, there's an overlook area there. That's a green area that we own. And so one of the phases of that is to clear that area because the trail is right there. And then make that improvement so that connection is right there to come down to the trail. So we're seeking additional funds. This was one of those things that might be something you want to do with the next round of ARPA to go ahead and finish that phase. But it's part of the overall master plan.
This is just a phase one. So this is going off of the Riverfront master plan, which I think ended up having something like 5 phases or something.
Yes. Yeah.
So we took bits of all the phases to get what would be most efficient and effective for this park and our community. And we turned it into our phase one. So there's still multiple things that can be completed with this, but to initially kick us off the ground and get us where we want to be right now, this is our start. This is just a starting point.
And there's a whole, like to the left of that, that's the whole undeveloped area that we own as well. But there's a plan, even in the master plan for dealing with that. And so we'll be back to you guys as we seek and get funding opportunities to go after doing it. It's an active, live, continuing process. I think the big takeaway that I'm really excited about is that because of the type of activity that's going on down there at night, because there's no regulation of the area, between the lighting, security fencing, and police now will once that's installed, it's on their patrol now, but at least we'll kind of deter a little bit of that activity, and then certainly we got to look at what's going to happen on the other end that's connected to Crawford Park, because obviously you can walk through Crawford Park and meander your way over there. So we're having some discussions about how we deal with that as well.
That was my question.
Yeah, no, I had a comment. What I don't want to see is our parks become a do not enter. You can only enter. They're public parks. People that live in it do pay taxes. I don't want it to be one of those things where you can't even visit your own parks and have to get a key or have to hope someone can open it for you.
Well, from a standpoint, and this is a conversation we had before. So there's all kind of illicit drug and sex and other activity that happens out in that park at night. And so it's not to limit, but most parks, particularly once you start to develop them, there are park hours. There are dusk to dawn hours. And all we're saying is to protect both the facilities. As you know, we've had a bunch of illegal dumping has happened out there, as well as drug paraphernalia and other kind of activities going on to protect the facility and the municipality's investment in it. Let's regulate the hours that folks can be out there. I know we've made other improvements before, and folks have gone in and torn them right out because there's just unlimited access all times of night. So it's not to limit anybody's ability to do it. We'll have it, the gates will open and, close. I think, I'm kind of liking it not directly to like an Elmore Park Zoo. It's a facility that they control so that they can maintain, the quality of the facility. And that's really the goal, to just make sure that it is open, clean, and accessible to everybody during the hours, normal hours of operation.
Council, any other questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 22-36?
So, second.
Madam Secretary.
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Rashad Bates.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Tiffany Henley.
Aye.
Heather Lewis. Thomas LaPera.
Aye. The ayes have it, resolution passes. Mr. Singh, Historical Architectural Review Board.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, before you is a request to approve or deny the Historical Architectural Review Board applications, which were received, reviewed, and recommended for approval by HARB for May 2022. As you all know, the Norristown HARB receives applications on a monthly basis for exterior repairs and renovations for properties located in Norristown's historic districts. Those applications are reviewed by the HARB members to confirm that the repair and or renovation work is in compliance with our municipal ordinance. The Historical Architectural Review Board has reviewed the applications and have approved either as submitted or as modified, as mentioned on the Certificate of Appropriateness for the following properties: 503 Barbados, 629 West Main, 802 DeKalb, and 805 West Main.
Council, any questions? I just got one. Has the process gotten easier since we changed have you seen more improvements being made?
Absolutely, Mr. President. So obviously, as we all remember, at one point, almost 44% of the properties in Norristown were located in a historic district. And after council did the analysis and a review was performed to see how we could best manage our historical neighborhoods and really kind of focus on the main corridors and the areas we really truly intended the HARB to focus on in the first place. After all of that was done, we went from 44% of the municipality being in a HARB district down to less than 20%. It's 19 point something at this point, and that has significantly reduced the number of applications that the HARB board has to review on a monthly basis, and it's actually made it a lot easier for homeowners and investors to actually invest in the property and make the necessary repairs that they needed to do. Along with other changes that were done in this ordinance, we did make it easier for homeowners to make the exterior repairs by using materials that are like what the historical materials used to be back in the day. So definitely a lot easier. A lot of property owners, owner-occupied property owners, investors, building owners are very happy with this new process. And even the HARB members, after this ordinance was updated, they were also pretty much trained on what this new ordinance is and how they should be dealing with these applications moving forward. So far I would say it's definitely a success, and it definitely has been a lot easier for property owners to work on their buildings.
Thank you. Council, any other questions, comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the HARB board of May 2022?
So moved.
Madam Secretary?
Hakeem Jones.
Aye.
Rashad Bates.
Aye.
Rebecca Smith.
Aye.
Tiffany Henley.
Aye.
Heather Lewis.
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Council.
Departmental reports. Finance.
Okay. I am the Assistant Director of Finance, and English Rolante. So thank you and good evening, Council President LaPara, council members, department heads, and the Norristown community. You've received a summary of our April 22 budget status. I'd like to just go over the highlights. For revenue, the Act 511 taxes, the earned income taxes are running higher than the prior 3 years. At this point, we expect to be $100,000 better than budget. Interest earnings have been lower than expected due to a E-Trade account we're trying to close. So we're getting penalized and we're trying to close it, and we're having a difficult time doing that because it's under, I think it's 3 prior finance directors before Kathy and Norm, and they will only talk to that person it's signed under. So we are in touch with our attorneys to find out how to go ahead with trying to get this account closed. Public safety building permits are lower than budgeted, maybe due to timing. For expenditures, the benefits, the health benefit costs are expected to be approximately $150,000 under budget. This favorable variance is due to 2 items. The percentage cost increase for the 7/1 renewal was less than budgeted, saving approximately $75,000. Since we renewed for a 2-year period, we will receive a one-time $150,000 credit spread over the 2022 and 2023 policy period. For vehicle maintenance, the fuel cost, as everyone knows, has doubled since last year. Currently, we expect to be about $150 over budget, but this possibly could get worse. Who knows where we're headed? The department heads have been proactive by reminding their departments to turn off the cars while parked and not idle if possible. So overall, 2022 operating budget results are tracking well.
Council, any questions?
Building permits. Is there a reason why they're lower this time around than last year?
So one of the major reasons why building permits initially started off slower than usual is because of our new contractor licensing ordinance that had gone into effect starting January 1st. That first 2-3 weeks, almost month, there was a little bit of a delay of getting contractors licensed because it was a new process for everyone. They were trying to figure out how to get the paperwork together and submit everything. But the good news is, as of yesterday, we actually have over 450 licensed contractors following the new ordinance requirements. So because of that delay, there was a little bit of a change in the building permits, where before a lot of people were able to just simply fill out a permit application and apply for a permit, whereas now they have to first obtain their licensure before the permit can be issued. We do have a lot of permits that have actually been applied for. They're already in the pipeline. We've actually already approved many of them, but we're just currently waiting on contractors submitting their supporting documents. That way, once they submit that, we will be able to actually formally issue the permit, and then they would also be able to go to the finance department and pay for those permits. So in about a month to 2 months, we feel like it will balance out. Plus, our season is just getting started, the construction season. So there's been a significant pickup in the last 30 days already with the number of permits that are being applied for. Plus, how we usually in the summer do our best squad, the building enforcement safety team, on Saturdays and even Monday through Friday. We don't advertise this because then it would put contractors on alert. But after hours, on the weekends, including Sunday, we go out and we patrol to make sure that people aren't working after hours with permits, which is pretty common. You'll see literally right at 4:35, when they know the city closes at 4:30, you'll see vans pull up, insulation, lumber, materials going into buildings. So usually we find a lot of properties in the summer that are, work being done without permits. So we're confident that we'll be able to balance out by the end of the year. But a lot of it will have to do with the work that people are going to be performing on their buildings. So.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you very much. Ms. Gennardi.
Right, so I just have a few updates that I have for this month. Just for we're going to start with Simmons Park. I actually did speak with the contractor today, and I did loop in Public Works. So right now, due to our weather and due to scheduling purposes, we are at the last week of June to be finished, to be completed. They were out there today. However, I received photos that over the weekend, whatever barriers we had up were clearly down, and somebody took four-wheelers and drove all over the asphalt that wasn't set. So now we're put back again where they're going to try and fix it the best of their ability, but there's nothing you can, unless you're going to remill it and all that. So they're going to do the best they can. But it just so that we are on the same page as, it's small things are adding up, that are pushing the project back. And unfortunately, it was supposed to be done sooner, but, you can't control everything. But as I'm told, they're working on, they're going to finish out this week with us to see if they can fix some of the track marks that are on there. And then they'll be back for the painting and the finishing. And Public Works will be installing the brand new units we have so that we have all 8 courts ready to go. Fingers crossed, July 1st. That's the drop date that I'm hoping we can get in that good timeline with. Next camp, we are probably right on track with our camp. We're about halfway there with how much I would like, or we will receive. Everybody's a last minute. It's going to be the week of camp. It's going to be Monday, and I'm going to have 75 parents outside. So, but again, I had said it before, my main goal when I started 4 years ago was creating an urgency and having people feel they needed to sign up, and they have. So to get to 50%, yes, it's a little later to be there where I'm at for our community and how it's been done in the past. I'm very happy with it. We have submitted our final grant, which for Elmwood Park for our master plan with DCNR. So all of that was completed and sent, and we should know by August where we are at with the award with our master plan for Elmwood. And then just some side notes, concerts begin again, and we have our movie night. So we're starting our summer events. Recreation. Oh, goodness, thank you.
Council, any questions? Comments? Councilman Jones.
Thank you for your report, Alvin. Elmwood Park Master Plan, does that include the baseball fields? And I guess my question is, could the baseball fields be used as possible green space until, because August is a long time, but could it be used for possible green space that could be
Absolutely.
for the community?
Current plan, I've been working with Thomas. We are looking to make, clean up aesthetically, number one, but number two, to make Little League safe. Latchall is a little too big of a field, you got infield, you have sod. So that would not be a green space. That would be our best bet, but the Little League fields, absolutely. And our departments have been working together to get that kind of better leveled out and mowed and what we can do with it in the meantime until we know what would best fit our community on that side.
And just to follow up, as council knows, and this is really for public consumption, that discussion is ongoing. Part of what we're doing with that master plan is not just the Elmwood Park. It's looking at the rec center and that property on around the rec center, those baseball fields, and all the fields up through Elmwood Park. And we're also looking at Roosevelt Field. There are discussions that are still going to be happening with the school district about Roosevelt Field because, as we've shared, municipal engineer as well as shared, that entire recreation area, the rec department, that area, it's all in, so much of it is in flood zone. And so it looks like becoming a permanent passive area for some of that is going to be the best and most economical way, because between the two hurricanes that we responded to over the last few years, we're talking about $1.8 million in terms of damages that got done. So that we don't want to keep going through that, and the insurance company is going to cancel us at some point if we do keep going through that. So part of what this master plan is for council to kind of help reimagine with community input what that entire area looks like for recreation and how we do that. So it's green, open space, it's fields, it's facility itself in terms of what you want to do. So it's an ambitious undertaking that's going to be 2 or 3 years in the making once you get the master plan done. And I know that right now, after the consolidated fire department, recreation and that area particularly becomes #1 in your RACP priorities in terms of how to get it funded. So it's going to get a lot of attention once that master plan bid is awarded, and then come back and start working with whoever is the winning designer to work with council to see it. And so whatever that space looks like is ultimately going to be your decision as to what all of that space looks like. And certainly as we go through this discussion with the school district on Roosevelt, that'll impact it as well.
Council, any other questions, comments? Seeing none, thank you. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you, everyone.
Stand